Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on where you are listening from. It's such a pleasure to have everyone on board, actually listening at their convenient time. Um, it's a privilege to be here today to share with us something important, and we will be starting with the section one for the Lead and Thrive with Charity mentorship and personal development experience. Actually, it's a weekly mentorship and personal development experience. So I hope you are able to gain as much as I have in mind for us. So, from the statistics that we carried out, I found out that most of us are undergraduates and graduates. So, I took that into account. But nonetheless, because of the topic, what I wish I knew before entering the university, I decided to chip in some things for the future because other young graduate aspirants, young undergraduate aspirants, they may benefit from it because you find out that most of them they ask the question, how do I prepare? What kind of mistakes should I avoid? And what to expect in the university. And I feel they should know too, because I asked these questions when I was seeking my admission and preparing, right? And as an undergraduate, you are asking the question, am I making the mistakes already, the mistakes that shouldn't be done? What should I avoid? What should I start doing immediately that I'm not doing? And as a graduate, you're asking, okay, maybe I have done this mistake. Okay, how do I correct this mistake going forward? How do I progress from where I am now to where I want to go? And I think that's why the theme of this session becoming is very important because certain kind of opportunities come to those that are prepared to have them. So meaning that you have to become the kind of person that opportunities are looking for, and there is a posture for it, right? So I know we have different personal development exercises going on, webinars and the rest. So this is just um, lead and thrive a charity's contribution towards that goal, right? To contribute to the ongoing effort of making sure that our young people get prepared for the kind of opportunities that they are looking for, right? So now I'll be going into details, but before I go in, I would like you to meet me to have at least an idea of who is sharing these slides with you. So get to know me. My name is Charity Chinonso Ogu, a pharmacist by training. I am a Christian and a believer. I have a lot of favorite verses in the Bible, but I think for this season, it's Matthew chapter 5, 14 to 16. And this matters so much to me because it says, Matthew 5, verse 14, said that you are the light of the world, a city set on the hill that cannot be hidden. You can imagine. So, meaning that as a light that I am, or that you are, as much as you believe in this, you are permitted to only shine. If you go into a dark places, it doesn't matter whether it's literally dark, but to places where they lack ignorance, to places where your service can be rendered, where hope can be restored, you can shine your light there, right? So that is what this verse is encouraging me with. And if you go to verse 16, it says, let your light so shine so that men may see it and praise your Father that is in heaven, right? So I choose to reckon on this verse for this season. And I'm also a researcher with interest in public health and infectious diseases and epidemiology. Maybe in subsequent session you get to know me better because I try to just, you know, make it as brief as possible. And I've been privileged to receive some scholarships, Obviously, I'm a lifelong learner because of my profession. I remember how they were sounding it for us that as a pharmacist, you're a lifelong learner, you're a lifelong learner, we learn every day. So I'm passionate about leadership, mentorship, personal development, and the founder of Lead and Thrive with Charity, a growing mentorship platform, and then Grow, Lead and Thrive Hub, which is just a hub for opportunities where we share opportunities and encourage people to apply. And I'm dedicated to helping students and young professionals to maximize opportunities. Because looking at my background, where I come from, and the kind of exposure that I have, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, I felt like, no, that people shouldn't go through processes because they should. At least you they should learn from other people, especially people that have gone through that path and they've succeeded, right? So they've succeeded in that path, so they can learn from them. And I'm also a mentor, a speaker, upcoming speaker, and a youth development advocate, and I believe in continuous and intentional growth, right? So now I will be moving to the learning objectives for the session. Now for the session, I have 5 slides, and each slide that I'm going to be sharing with us, I have a learning objective that have been stated out for each of them, right? So we are going to be looking at, remember the topic is what I wish I knew before entering the university. But for some reasons, it's not like it's not coming from the part of regrets. Like there are some things I learned the hard way. I was fortunate enough to learn them during my undergraduate days. And I see that these things happens, you know, subsequently to other people reaching out to me. They shared the same concern. I said, you know what, we are going to have something, maybe a platform like this to discuss it so that other people can gain knowledge and become aware, right? So the first objective that I would want you to live with is this. Number one, you should be able to understand the importance of self-awareness in your decision making. Become more intentional about your university experience and personal growth. Learn practical ways to improve your time management and productivity. And understand how leadership and service contribute to your personal and professional development. And lastly, be able to recognize the importance of having a strong source and foundation for your journey, right? So I would like you to pay attention because you are going to see how it reflects in other slides that I will be presenting. But before we move on, I want you to ponder on this. Let's say you're a graduate now or an undergraduate, you know, if you should be asked this question, what would it be? If you could go back to your very first day before entering that university and tell yourself one thing, what would it be? Right? What would it be? What will you be able to change, or what kind of mindset will you be using to get into the university or get into your postgraduate studies, right? So I would leave this to you to ponder, right? And we move straight to what we want to share about. Number one, what I wish I knew before entering the university. Number one, we have the early self-awareness. Self-awareness, it matters a lot. And I intentionally put early there because, although we learn every day, but it's important that you know about this early. What is self-awareness? It's your ability to recognize your uniqueness. If you go online, check dictionaries, we have different meaning of awareness, but I like to see it as your uniqueness. What distinguishes you from the other person? What are your thoughts, your feelings, actions, and impacts on those around you, not just yourself, on those around you? So if you look at this picture now, you see the the mirror image, a lot of things, coming out. You have different things, the goals, the mental health, academics, personal pursuits and all of that. So your ability to recognize who you are, how you differentiate yourself from other people because you are not the same. Socrates, they said you cannot intentionally build a life you have never thoroughly examined. And that is true. They put it this way again, that a life that is not thoroughly examined is not worth living. But it sounds harsh, but it's true, because at each point in time you examine yourself. What do you think about certain things, your feelings, your actions, right? Because self-awareness is wisdom itself. It is the cornerstone of personal and professional growth, because if you look at it, it is linked to your emotional intelligence, your motivation behind what you do, your how you react to things, your emotions entirely. That's what it entails. So now we are going to be looking at how do you know if you are self-aware. Number one, knowing your core values and how they influence your choices. Now, for myself, before I went into the university, there are things I told myself that I would be doing. There are some things I told myself that I will not be doing. For example, I told myself that I will try as much as possible to uphold excellence in my studies. I will try as much as possible to avoid parties, clubs. I try as much as possible to be honest with dealing with others. A lot of things that I identified as my value. And now, this my value system now help me to influence my choices, because I remember when I was in my 100 level, then I had many offers. You see, many flyers then coming out, friends inviting for parties. Even when I was doing my program, my pre-degree program, I had, different invitation. And as young people, we are vibrant, so it can be tempting, right? But I went back, I remembered what I told myself, the promise I kept to myself that I'm not going to do it. And that was what helped me. So in that area now, I'm self-aware, right? So number two, recognizing your emotional and your emotions and label them correctly. This is very important. How do you feel about certain things? Sometimes there are sometimes that the kind of feelings that you have, you can't really explain them. Whether you are sad, you're happy, you feel indifferent, frustrated, a lot of things. So your ability to be able to label them will make you to become self-aware. Like you are self-aware in that aspect of your life. Now, you are self-aware if you know your strength, your weaknesses, your natural gifts and talents. This is very much important, because if you watch our world today, there's so many pressure everywhere, comparison everywhere. I want to be like this person. I want to. We are all unique. Personally, I believe that there's no one that doesn't have potential. Everybody has potential. It's just left for you to really look into yourself to see that thing you can do freely, that anytime you do it, you're happy. For myself, how I'm able to do this sometimes is difficult, because especially if you are the type that is multi-potential, you don't really know, your direction and everything. But one thing I can advise anyone is to get a paper, sit with it, sorry, and try to think, what are those things that excite you, that makes you happy, that when you are doing it, you feel relieved doing it, you know that can be your strength and you can work on it. For example, if you know how to write, you can find out how you can improve in your writing skills, and it could be a career for you. You know how to speak, you a lot of things, right? I feel if we identify our unique potential, there will be less comparison, because everybody will be doing their things and they will be excelling at it. I won't have to look at you to say you are doing this well. I mean, I'm not doing it well. I think I am a failure. I think I cannot amount to anything in life. So it's very important we become self-aware in this area, and knowing how to deal with some of them, like our weaknesses, right? So understanding the thoughts that destroys and the thoughts that revives. This is very, very important, because some of us, we are not all the same. Some, we come from good backgrounds where we are well to do, some from humble backgrounds. And most of the time, if you see yourself that you are in the university and you don't have some leverages that other people have, you tend to feel bad about it, and react in a certain way, or you have difficult roommate that you are living with, and it's really disturbing for you because you don't know how to handle that person, and it's that kind of environment makes you to think bad or to think destructive things about the person, or a lot of things. And then what kind of thing do you feel about yourself? These are examples of thoughts that destroys and thoughts that can revive. Do you think good of yourself? Do you think good of others? How what can you how do you pour into yourself when you are alone, when nobody is with you? What do you say to yourself? Do you think that success is for everybody and not for you? Do you think that you cannot amount to anything despite your efforts? So these are important. If you do all of these things, it means that you are self-aware of yourself, because by the time you're able to identify these issues, you will now know what to work on and how to get on from where you are. Are you influenced socially, because of the pressures around you? How what like how can you relate to it? For example, a lot of people want to just jump into trends, career pressure, work, a lot of things, because of so much pressure now. So how you are self-aware is to see how you actually react to these things. How do you react to them will tell so much about you, right? So I think we've said so much about it, and then we are going to be moving to the next thing now, which is intentionality. Intentionality is really, really important for us to look at, because it's one thing that helps one to know what to do and pursue it. Now we have small exercise here. One word for intentionality. If you think of intentionality, what comes to the mind? What do you think of when you think of intentionality? Let's go. Get your pen and paper as usual. As you're listening, don't look at my slide, just write it so that we can see. So, yes, and exactly. So, intentionality, how I put it here, deliberately acting on a clear purpose or a conscious direction towards something. In intentionality, you are intentional. Your mental capabilities, everything is involved. You are heading towards somewhere. You are deliberate. You are acting on a clear purpose. You are not everywhere, right? So intentionality will tell you how you set targets around the things that matters most to you. Intentionality will tell you that you don't have to be everywhere. Intentionality will tell you that everything should have purpose. Even as a graduate, even as an undergraduate, whatever you do should have a purpose. Because when a purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. If you don't know the reason why you should do certain things, you would abuse it. I read a post recently of how somebody was saying that a girl, she was saying that the people have privilege to go to school, but them in their country, they don't have that privilege. It's something that she wants to do. And it's possible that you as a student, you are in school now, but you don't see it as a privilege, right? So intentionality will tell you to place priority to where you should place your priority. Now we are going to be looking at 5 pillars. There are a lot of things you could add to this intentionality, but I narrowed it down to just these 5 pillars. Number one, as a student, this is something you should know. I remember before entering university, it was my brother that was telling me that if you have B or C in your exam, you will cry. Ah, and I was like, are you serious? That me that used to be happy if I have B's, and he said you will cry because a lot of things that grade will do to you. But he didn't really explain it to me well, like well. So I went into my 100 level with zero clue about CGPA. What does it mean? If should I even pay attention or not? So I am telling you now, number one is your academics. You set target for your academics. I think I started mine in 200 level, second semester. That was when I knew about all of these things. If I had known, I would have started well. Like my 100 level would have been superb by the grace of God and every other ones. But it's fine. I learned it and I'm sharing it now to you. Now, your CGPA counts. Don't let anything that people are saying to you really affect you or maybe make you think that it's not important. It's very important because when you leave school, opportunities you could get them and a lot of things. Now, number two, learning effectively. That is under academics. I've said one, CGPA. Intentionally set goals for your courses. And I remember I did that too. You set goals for your quiz, you set goals for your exams, and make sure that you set systems that would help you to really achieve these things. Learn effectively because obviously nobody is coming to save you in that aspect. You just have to do it. You just have to show up for yourself, right? Because something happened when I got into the professional level in my 200 proper first semester. I was learning a course in pharmacy, they call it PharmCalc, and I was having difficulty, right? And how I studied then and my roommate was different. So apart from this, we she I try to jot down notes while I'm studying. Why um she she prefers reading without jotting. So and I find out that oh, as I'm jotting, I'm taking time, and she's not jotting, and she has finished one hand, has gone into the other one, to the other one, to the other one. And I was like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, though. So you have to know what works for you and learn because I had to learn to know to understand myself better. What time do I read and assimilate? What time do I, how do I approach calculations? How do I, a lot of things I get to understand. Each semester comes with a new lesson for me that I would now implement in the next semester. That was how my university days was for me. I didn't have everything all figured out. And seeking help, like I mentioned in the example, the farm calc, I remember it was a senior that helped me to really understood that course very well. And imagine if you are the type that don't seek help, you will just be there. So it's important that you also learn how to seek help because if you are intentional about your academics, you would try to see how possible you can channel the rightful energy in order to get that goal met, right? Now we talk about your professional and personal growth. It's very important. This is one of it. So through your exposure to things that develop you, you begin to learn more about yourself. You begin to discover things about yourself. You begin to try things and see new things that you can do effortlessly that you don't even know you can at first. You begin to learn discipline, how to manage yourself. You begin to say yes to building your skills, building your CVs, and all of that, right? Now we look at relationships and network. Now, for myself, I like being that friend that, you know, we need to add value to each other, right? So your choice of friends, you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional to know the kind of friends that you keep, the kind of mentors that you get, the kind of community that you say yes to, and a lot of things. Because while in school, people say, get involved, get involved, get involved. And sometimes if you don't really know what to get involved in, you will be everywhere. And this was me too. I had to now settle down each time to analyze, am I supposed to be in this platform? How will this platform help me? You're a pharmacy student. what are you doing in a sociology this department program? Although it can be helpful, don't get me wrong, but if you are in a place where you are not supposed to be, you have so much, you have a lot of commitment, you will not have success. You will just be having half baked success. But it's better to identify those your strength. That is why I started with self-awareness. Know those things that you are good at, that you are naturally drawn to, and seek opportunities in those areas. That way, you will build, you will create values. Your friends and your loved ones, you add value to them and they will add value to you. That is it. Your choice really matters. If you're intentional in your relationships, it's going to help you to know what to say yes to and what to say no to, right? Then we look at opportunities and value creation, very, very important. Scholarships, volunteering, competitions, conferences. Please, as much as it's coming from your department, engage, and don't be a stagnant person. Don't be a passive follower. Be active, take roles, and try your best. Try out opportunities. That way, what it will do to you is that you are going to meet new people, you are going to share ideas, you are going to be exposed, you're going to learn more. So that is it. There are a lot of things you could benefit, right? Now, in talk of faith and value, very, very important. Now, I left it at the last because I want to emphasize a little about it. Your faith is really, really important, you know, because you have to know from the beginning, how do you want to be identified? Like, how do you want to be identified? Because at the end of your stay in school, good name is really, really important. Good name is really important. When I was, leaving home to my university days, I was just like, I'm just going to be myself. And getting in, I said I will just be myself. I will be active but invisible. But something happened that all of a sudden made my name to be everywhere. Oh, Charity did this, Charity did that. I'm glad it's not something bad anyways, but it is important that you have good name in school. Don't be known in school as a tout or as somebody that is not um um like as a fraudsters or something. Just intentionally choose how you want to be identified as. Build good reputations, you know, try to leverage good opportunities to add values to others. It's really, really important, right? So now, before I leave here, I want us to always set goals for every part of our lives that we want to see changes. It's very, very important. It has really helped me. Although I'm not perfect, I'm not, where I want to be yet, but I am still a work in progress, right? So we are going to be looking at the next thing now: effective time management and productivity hack. Honestly, this aspect is something that even myself, I am still working on till date, because a lot has to do with this. This time management, lack of time management really affected me while I was in school. It's really affected me. I bought a book on it. I couldn't even read it because it was like, it was sounding so strong to me that I was afraid that I don't know if I can keep to these things. But it's a skill that is very, very important. Because if you don't really manage your time very well, it's going to affect every other thing. And let me tell you the gospel truth now. University is one of the best places to build good habits. If you say maybe when I leave school I will start, it's going to, you will see, it's going to be really, really difficult for you. I'm not going to lie, because when you leave school, you face reality, not in a bad way, but you are going to be busy. You have a lot of things, you have lots of thoughts, many, many things. So university is the best time to build yourself if you have been able to identify, you know, that part of you that need to be built. Please utilize it, maximize your university days to build on those things. My time management skills changed when I assumed some leadership position, but I am still working on it even till date. because now I'm a graduate, I still have other works, I still have other activities coming up, I still have a lot of things to focus on. So it is very, very important because everybody, we have 24 hours. We have 24 hours. Nobody has extra. So we need to what we do with that 24 hours differentiate us. Now you ask yourself, are you utilizing that 24 hours that you have? Because university is freedom. But if you don't really utilize that freedom very well without discipline, it will eventually make you lose focus, because focus is key in all of these things, right? So now I put this in: business is not the same thing as productivity. This one really affected me too. You get to do a lot of things, and at the end of the day, you achieve little. So, and the way to solve this is really identifying those things that are priority and focus on them. It doesn't matter um whether they are, how do I put it now? So it doesn't matter if they are in line or not. So you look at your priority, those ones that are really important, you do them and get through to the end, right? If you're able to maintain focus in your undergraduate level, it's going to help you even after school, right? So now the next thing we are going to be discussing is your leadership, volunteering, and services. Now, I never knew that I would become a leader in school. If you had told me this earlier, I wouldn't agree with you. I just wanted to be that student that would just go into school, finish, and leave. I don't want to know, I don't want to get involved in all of those things. But today, I am happy that the testimony is different. Leadership is influence, it's not a title. So it's a position that transformed my university experience. I went into leadership with, I don't know, how do I put it? Maybe in my subsequent session you will learn. I never planned it, right? So, but going into leadership really taught me a lot. And leadership is service. It's a place where your mind will be transformed. I like how my friend put it. She said, God created us to be influenced, to influence and to be influenced, of course, positively. So leadership is not a title, like I said before, but a privilege to serve humanity and also build yourself while at it. With leadership, you know that people are looking up to you, people are counting on you. All right. So with that, you be able to know how to prioritize people. You learn empathy, you build your capacity, and you know how to manage team and even solve some basic problems as a student. So I remember the time that I handled mic for the very first time. I was just fidgeting. My body was just shaking because I had never done that before. But over time, I became confident in it. It takes time. I remember the time again that I was supposed to deliver a pitch deck, and I did badly, in that presentation. I even cried. So because of how I performed badly or how I thought I performed badly. So, but today it's better. I'm improving. So whatever it is, don't shy away from leadership position. Just give it your best and see how it can transform you. The skill you are building today as an undergraduate, it will help you in years to come. Those things now, those ability that you are building, you may think that you are wasting your time. No, you're not wasting your time. You are building yourself, you are grooming yourself, because these things has a way of helping you in the future. You can handle lot of something that is way bigger in the future because you have been able to commit yourself to the activities within your capacity. I don't know if that makes sense. Now you're a student, you won't compare it with the kind of opportunity you will get after school. But if you have built that foundation as a student, it's going to help you when you get to the other side, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Volunteering is rewarding. The first time I learned about volunteering, I searched online for volunteering opportunities and I was able to get one. Even though I was not qualified for the position, but they gave me another role. I took it. I started working as a social media manager. I was learning on the job. I had zero knowledge on it, but I kept working. I kept working and I became good at it, good at it compared to when I started, because learning is continuous. Things are changing, right? So do not shy away from it. It's rewarding. I have won grants from my volunteering experience. I have won certain privileges because of my volunteering experience. I have met people of substance through my volunteering activities. So don't say no to volunteering. Try as much as possible to commit yourself to service, because the fastest way to grow is to help someone else grow. People that have grown, people that are making it now, they are seeing the need to really reach out to people. And one of those ways is to help you, help us grow. Is to help us grow. So that is it. Even you that you are in school, if you see somebody that you are leading, you are helping that person to grow. It's never a waste of time. So never you shy away from leadership, volunteering, or services. It will help you to maximize your time, to prioritize yourself, right? So now I hope we are following so far. Now we are going to be discussing the last point. Now, this is very, very important, and I left it in the last page. So look at this image of this. When I was preparing this slide and I was just praying, I said, I really want to have a mental picture of this. This was what came to the mind: a bulb and a switch and then a plug. So when I was not trying to draw it, so this idea came to the mind. I said, oh, I'm going to use this illustration. Now, if you look at this illustration, what comes to the mind? If I don't connect this plug to this source here, we don't know what is the source, but we believe that when we connect it here, it will light. But now, what now matter is what is in this source. What is this source? Don't mind my English. So now that's the question that I will be leaving with you. What is your source? Because, like I said here, your source will sustain you. Because you here, you are the light. So if this plug is not connected to the right source, we don't know what will shine here. Me and you, I don't know. If this is even plugged and this is not turned on, we don't know. We don't know what will come here, and we don't know the reaction. So now, I just want to use this thing to explain something. One of the best thing you can do to yourself when you get into the high institution is to identify who you are, who is your source, right? Because it is going to shape every other thing in your life, in your years in school. It's going to shape it. Now, we all want to excel in life, and it is okay. It is really okay. But if you do not have, or if you have not identified your source, there won't be excellence. Yes, there won't be, right? So for me, from day one, I decided to intentionally connect with God as my source. Now, I am just a normal person with my family and just growing and just, wishing that life falls in place for me and all of that. But at the same time, I got to a point where I really need to decide what kind of life. I've gotten into this institution and I'm seeing a lot of things, but what kind of pathway do I want for myself? And then I decided. And it really, really helped me because my decision guided every other aspect of my university life and experience. I believe that Jesus Christ is the ultimate source of wisdom, strength, and direction. And I identified it personally as my source. I mustn't be perfect, But I know that this, whether things go south for me or go west or go east or go north, he is my source, right? So, and because he is my source, it guided every other aspect of my life. And for good reason, I did not regret it. That's why I'm putting it to you now that please just note that it is very important to decide early. It doesn't matter if you're a graduate, undergraduate, or a student, it's very important to decide early your source, because your daily choices, the choices you make every day, will eventually, activate your potential that would help you, that it will help you to become visible to others. There are certain kind of opportunities that your friends cannot invite you to because they know that this person's faith doesn't carry it. There's some certain things that you would want to do, but because you know that this my faith doesn't support it, I withdraw. There's some certain a lot of opportunities, but because you know that this faith, so that is why in life you have to identify your source. If you are not able to identify your source, that means you will just be wondering. You don't Your choices will be like you don't there's nothing guiding you, because a disconnected life cannot produce a consistent light. If you are disconnected, there is no way you can produce a consistent light. So that is why I choose to add it, because it serves as the foundation of every other thing. Your source guides your decision, it guides your awareness in dealing with others, in building your intentionality, you bear it in mind, in your productivity, you bear it in mind, your leadership to others. It will If you know your source, you will definitely know how you can treat others according to what you believe in, right? So it's very, very important, and I choose to just share it with us because it has helped me personally. So now, in conclusion, your source is the foundation. I put it this way because it guides every other thing that you do in your university days. If you have decided that this is where I belong, so you walk around, everything around you will be around your foundation, around your source. Because obviously, if you look at this image, once you plug it to the source, there's light, right? So if there's light in your life, your self-awareness, you are topping the game, intentionality, you are topping the game, your effective time management and productivity, you are topping. It doesn't matter that life may not go rosy, but at the same time, when these things are not working as planned, you trace back and come back again. It doesn't matter how many times that you disconnect. Once you disconnect, you see that things are not, you trace back and connect yourself back to the source. This has been what has been guiding me. I fall short, I come back to my source, right? So it's the foundation for my own university experience. So, and I'm saying it to you too now too. Self-awareness gives you identity. You become aware of yourself, you know yourself, what you believe in, what are your thoughts, your dealings with other people. You get to think, how do you react to people? I used to think that these people that drag people online, if they are self-aware, I don't think they can be doing this kind of thing to people, because you know that if I say this thing to this person, it can harm that person's mental health. So why do I say it? A post where somebody made a musician, actually, he was like that he's tired and all of that, and somebody just came online and said, eh, go and kill yourself now, go and hang yourself and die. And the following day, that was what happened. So our words are very, very dangerous. So I don't think a proper self-aware person can do that kind of thing, can say that kind of thing to his or her fellow human being. So your self-awareness is very important because it gives you your identity. And this is what people will use to identify you when they get to see you. Oh, blessing is like that. Oh, blessing doesn't do that. Oh, blessing can never steal. Oh, she can never do this. without you even saying anything to anybody. They have known you, they have studied you, you have shown it to them in one way or the other. So if you're in school, you have to maximize this very well. Become self-aware. Know your strength so that when um Amara is doing well in her academics or in her career, you will not feel jealous. You will go instead and ask her, please, I admire what you are doing. Can you put me through? You are self-aware. But if you now become jealous, you become envy, you are missing it altogether. You know, intentionality gives you direction. If you're intentional, you know that, like I shared a post recently about my weaknesses in the past, how I don't really know how to write write very well, and speak very well, which is the basic thing. I wasn't so shy of saying it because that was my weaknesses at the time. When I became self-aware that I lacked that, I started looking for the solution. I started reading more, asking more questions, seeking directions. I became intentional. Now I'm speaking to you. I never knew that a day will come, charity will be doing this kind of thing. Because I used to be a shy girl. I used to be somebody that, you can see me and say, this girl is gentle, she doesn't talk. But look at me delivering this speech today. I'm not where I want to be yet, but at least I've made progress. Now, time management. Time management gives you discipline. Is this time management that I see that it still happens all through our life. You're a student, you are trying to manage time and extracurricular activities. You are a graduate, you are trying to manage your work. If you are married, your family, your career, your purpose, your spiritual life with God, everything you are trying to strike balance. It's not always easy. This time management, for me, I am still looking for the hack. But one thing that has helped me so far, let me share with you, is having a to-do list is very, very important. If you have a to-do list, I think it will help you. You outline those things. And like this book said, eat the frog. You first of all look at those harder tasks and do them first before you come to the easy task. So, but me, I used to break that rules sometimes. I try to, go to the easy ones first because it gives me joy when I'm marking them, I'm marking them. Because before I finish the hard one and mark and tick them, I must be tired by then. But then I'm still working on that. So time management gives you discipline. You might want to be trying that to help you. Leadership and service gives you impact, no doubt. So once you are doing this, it's going to be helping you to develop yourself and to improve, which is really, really important. Now, I think that's all for tonight. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have any question, please feel free to ask so we can attend to them. So take care and bye.